In student handout number 8, multiplying and dividing rational numbers. So that today is the same thing, except today we throw in some decimals and fractions. All the same processes and rules apply to multiplying and dividing rational numbers, aka fractions and decimals. Once you have a solution, you're going to apply the integer rules to determine the sign of the product or quotient. Same thing you did yesterday. If the signs are the same, the answer is positive. And if the signs are different, the answer is negative. Same stuff as yesterday, just a continuation. All right, 4.51. I screwed that up. 4.51 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 12, plus the 1 on top is 13.53. And that is your answer. Why? Because it's two positives. All right, that means multiplication, negative 2.5 times 7. So it is 7 times 2.5. Or you can write it like this. You can write 2.5 times 7. If that's the way you want to do it. That is 5, 3... It is 17.5, but that is not the answer. It is negative 17.5. Why? Because 1 is negative. Negative 15.6 times 2, so we can go 15.6 times 2. 12, 10, 11, 3, 31.2. The answer is positive. Why? Because it's two negatives. Yeah. All right, remember, if you don't remember, that is 5. The 32 falls down, so it goes like that. 5 will go into 32 6 times. That is 32. Bring down your first 0. When you bring down your first 0, you add that decimal place. 5 will go into 24 times. There it is. The answer is 6.4. The answer is positive. Why? Because it is two negatives. Now, what if the decimal doesn't stop and finally end in this 0? I'm about to circle in red. What if it does not end in 0 and it keeps going forever? That is an irrational number, and we're about to have one of those. So let's see what happens. All right, 3 divided by 20. 3 will go into 26 times. That is 18 with 2 left over. Bring down your first 0 and bring your decimal point. 3 will go into 26 times. Oops. I put that in the wrong place. You big dummy. 18 to bring down another. Oh, I see a pattern. Anybody else see a pattern? We're just going to keep ending up in that same pattern. So it's going to be 6.6666666666, so forth. Okay? Now, we can stop once we realize that is the pattern. After about 2, we got it. Okay? So the answer is going to be 6 point, and we don't write 6.666666. We don't write that. It's underlined in red. That ain't how we do it. We stop after the first number that repeats, which is the 6 after the decimal. You got to go one place in the decimal zone. And then you put a line over top it, which means it repeats. Okay? And the answer is negative. Why is it negative? Because there was one negative, one positive. So if the decimal just keeps going like that, stop it after the first number that repeats, put a line over top it, and we're good, just like I did right there. All right? That is called a repeating decimal, is what that was called. All right, using number 4 and 5 above, how would you explain to a friend when to stop simplifying a rational number through long division? Here is what I would say. When dividing, I'm going to put the dividing sign. Once you notice, oh Lord, that was like, once you notice the decimal is repeating, you can stop and put a bar over the repeating number. Or values. Let's do values. Let's not do number. Let's check that. Values. All right, moving on. The cell phone company charges Michael a late fee of $3.84 per day until the balance is paid. If Michael's 8 days late, what is the change in his bank account? Well, it's $384, negative $384 per day, because he's getting charged, that's negative, times 8 days. Okay, so 8 times 3.84. I'll do it in red. Eight times 4, last time I checked, was 32. 64. 8 times 8 is 64, plus 3 on top is 67. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 6 is 30. The change in his bank account was negative $30.72. So now let's put that in a sentence because it was a word problem. The change in Michael bank account was negative $30.72. All right, back page. Let's go to fractions. Whoopee! Yippee, 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 yippee. All right, we're going to change. It gives you some rules. How sweet of them. Change mixed numbers to an improper fraction. So let's do that. 7/8 is already an improper fraction, so let's just leave it. Times 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1 on top gives me 3/2. Then step 3 says multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So we're going to go 27 times 3, I'll do it in red, 7 times 3, and 8 times 2. That gives me, I'm going to draw a black line so we can kind of separate them. All right, that gives me 21/16. Now, simplify. 16 will go into 21 one time. 21 minus 16 is 5, so there's a remainder of 5, and the bottom number never changes. 1 and 5/16. The answer is positive because they were both positive to begin with. Boom shalaka. All right, let's go over here and let's divide. This is that old, I don't know if y'all remembered it this way, but this was that old KFC, but it's actually KCF. Y'all remember that? All right, here we go. Keep, change, flip. Oh boy. All right, dividing. Change the mixed numbers to improper, so let's go ahead and do that. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 3 on top is 11/4, divided by 2/3. All right, next step. It says change the division to multiplication and find the reciprocal of the second fraction. So here's what happens. Keep the first one, that's the K. K, keep. Let's write this somewhere. Where can we write it? Keep, change, flip. Write that right there. All right, keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep the first one. Keep 11/4. Change the division to multiplication, which we don't use X's, Coach Bartman. He's done told you. And then the last one is flip it. Instead of 2 over 3, it's going to be 3 over 2. Now it's multiplication. Now we can do that. Yippee! 11 times 3 and 4 times 2. That becomes 33 over 8. 8 will go into 33 4 times without going over. That makes 32, so that would be 1 left, and the bottom number does not change. Again, if you need to do it like that, that's fine. So you can visualize it, 4, 1, and 8, okay? The answer is 4 and 1/8. Keep, change, flip. All right, there's your rules. Here we go. We're multiplying, so we just get to multiply across right here. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 3 is 15. Both of those will go into 3. You're left with 2 over 5, which is your answer. It is positive because they both are positive to begin with. Number 9. Guys, this looks a lot like an addition problem, but look, right there is no addition or subtraction. Okay, it is a parentheses butted up to a number. That means multiplication. Now, if there was a plus sign in there, it would change the whole thing, but there's not. There's nothing there. So if there's nothing there, it means to multiply. We're multiplying 2 negatives, so the answer is going to be positive, by the way. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 4 is 24. Both numbers will go into 3. You're left with 5/8. Now, the answer is going to be positive. Why? Because it was 2 negatives. 2 negatives make a positive. Moving on. Number 10. Division. So we got the old KFC. KCF, actually. People don't like the KFC in Ardmore. I love the KFC in Ardmore. Now, I don't like the Taco Bell in Ardmore, but it's the same. But I still like the KFC part. I just don't like the Taco Bell part. But I do like Taco Bell, just not the Ardmore Taco Bell. But I do like the Ardmore KFC. Does that confuse you? Anyways, I like chicken. All right, so we're going to keep the first one. Change it to multiplication and flip the next one. 3 times 5 is 15. 10 times 4 is 40. They both will go into 5. And I get 3 over 8. The answer is positive. Why? Because it was 2 negatives to begin with. The answer is 3/8. By the way, I like the KFC in Ardmore, but not the Taco Bell in Ardmore. I like the McDonald's in Ardmore too. The Rick's. I'm hungry. All right. Number 11. It's another division, so we do have to KC it. Man, that just makes me so hungry. All right. So here we go. Keep it. Change it to multiplication and flip it. Now just multiply across. And you get 4 over 3. 3 will go into 4 once with 1 left over. So the answer is 1 1/3. Go back and check. The answer is actually going to be negative. Why? Because there is 1 negative right there and 1 positive, and that makes a negative answer when we are multiplying or dividing. All right, number 12. The answer is going to be negative. How do I know that already? Because 1 is negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put the negative sign. First thing we got to do is convert this mixed number into improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4 plus the 1 on top. Makes it 5 over 2. times 3 over 4. That is 15 over 8. 8 will go into 15 one time with 7 left over 8. Now, if you need to do this right here to just help you visualize it, I am good with that. Okay, I'm just not going to keep doing it. It is 1 7/8. Okay, negative 1 7/8. And the last one up here, we're dividing, and they are both negatives, so the answer is actually going to be positive. Keep the first one the same, change it to multiplication, and flip it. All right, let's multiply. That would be 72 over 36. They both will go into 36. 36 will actually go into 72 twice. So the answer is 2. But if you didn't know how to do that, I will come down here and go 72 over 36. Divide them by 2. You get 36 over 18. Divide by 2 again. You get 18 over 9 divided by 9. They'll both go by 9. And you get 2 over 1, which is the same thing as 2. All right, beautiful, beautiful. It's just beautiful, guys. It's just absolutely beautiful. All right. Almost D-O-N-E, done, 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 done. Here we go. Draw a line connecting the solution to the matching expression and the correct solution. So we have a word problem on the left, a equation in the middle, and an answer to the right. Okay? All right, here we go. First word problem. The water level drops 6 inches over 2.5 days. By how much did it change each day? So it's going to be -6 times 2.5. No, because it wants to know each day. So it's going to be division. So it's going to be -6 divided by 2.5. Because it dropped -6. I dropped my pen. Over 2.5 days. All right. Next question. Katie deposits $250 each day for 6 days. What is the change in her account? So she 6 times 2.5. Because she did $250 each day times 6 days. And the last one, AJ invests in a stock that drops. So it's negative $250 each day for 6 days in a row. So we need to know the change. So that would be 6 days times negative 2.5 because it went down $2.50. I found it. There it is. All right. So now we need to match the next ones. All right. So the ones we're not using is we're not using this one and we're not using this one. Okay. All right. So what is the answer? -6 divided by 2.5. Let's just start with the red. Let's start with the red one, the top one. 6 times 2.5. I know 6 times 2 is 12. So what is the only answer over 12? -15 is not over 12, so that is not it. The only answer over 12 is 15. So I know this is going to match that one without even working it out. I like middle math. I love middle math. We need to get better at it. All right. 6 times -2.5. We know 6 times 2.5 is 15. What is 6 times -2.5? It is -15. All right, beautiful. So now the next answer, we know that it is going to be negative or positive. We know that it's going to be the blue one. We know that it's going to be negative, so we can get rid of this positive one. So there's one of those negatives left, and we just need to work it out. I'm going to work it out. I don't really know where I'm going to work it out. I guess right here. So negative 6 divided by 2.5. All right, I'm going to rewrite the problem. That becomes negative 6. That becomes 5 over 2, by the way. Times 2 over 5. How did I do that? I kept, changed, and flipped. Okay. Negative 6 is over 1. If you're not sure what it's over, any whole number is over 1. 6 times 2 is 12 over 5. 5 will go into 12 2 times with 2 left over. That is 2 2/5. We decided the answer was already negative. There is the answer, negative 2 2/5. And then the last one can be marked off. All right, that's all she wrote for today. To your homework you go. I'll see you on the flip side.